My name is Matrona Jessica Ward. I'm a California estate planning attorney, and we're back for another 5-Minute Friday. So today's topic is, okay, but seriously, what even is a trust? I have a lot of clients who ask me that, and they feel bad for not knowing, but that's totally unnecessary because a lot of people aren't clear on what exactly a trust is and how it can benefit them. So let's learn together. There are two metaphors or examples that I use to help clients understand what a trust is. So the first metaphor that I use is that a trust is like a treasure chest. A trust is like a treasure chest that takes all of your assets from strewn all around you and scattered all around you to gather them up in one place under the name of this trust, with instructions to tell anybody who's dealing with it what they need to do, what the rights and responsibilities are. So rather than having a piece of property here, a bank account there, everything is gathered under the name of the trust, and it goes according to the terms of the trust. Now, the benefit of this is that when you've got things strewn all around you, which is how I picture it when everything is in your own name, that has to go through probate court. But when you've got this box with the instructions on it, it doesn't have to go through probate court because it's got the instructions right there. So it can be handed off to the next person to know what to do with it, privately and discreetly and in exactly the way that you've set forth. Now, the second metaphor that I use, or the second example that I use, is that a trust is an entity. And as an entity, it's like a cross between a contract and a corporation. So it's similar to a contract in that it is private. It's not necessarily registered with any governmental entity or any state body. And it is an agreement that exists just because you wrote it up and signed it. It's like a corporation in the sense that it is an entity. It can buy, sell, trade, and own like a person would. This entity exists and it can own all of your things, but you, as the person creating it, are still in charge of it. So now's a good time to let you know the 3 different roles created by a trust. That's going to be first the grantor. That's the person creating the trust. Sometimes this is also called the settlor or the trust maker. I use the term grantor because that's the most widely used in my experience. The second role is going to be the trustee. The trustee is the person who is entrusted with managing those assets and distributing them as you have set forth. The third role is going to be the role of the beneficiary or beneficiaries, and those are the person or people who you have decided that the assets are to be used for the benefit of. Now, when you're alive, often you're creating a trust and you've got all 3 roles filled by you, or if you're married, by you and your spouse. You are the creator of the trust. You are the trustee of the trust managing those assets, and you are the beneficiary of the trust using those assets for your benefit. But when you pass away, those roles are split. So you're still the trust maker, but the trustee will become the person that you've put in charge of things, and the beneficiary will be your heirs, the people that you want to basically benefit from your assets. Now, you can still have somebody in both roles of trustee and beneficiary. A lot of people choose to use a family member as trustee, and that's perfectly fine and feasible. So the point is that it's divided into roles so that there's different rights and responsibilities of each role. A lot of people also ask, why is it called a revocable living trust? Well, we already talked about what a trust is. Now it's called revocable because as a trust that's created by a grantor who's still in charge of things, it is completely undoable. It can be revoked by the grantor at any time, and it can be assets can be put in and taken out at the grantor's discretion, and the whole thing can be completely dissolved at the grantor's discretion. Now, they don't usually do that, but they do sometimes change the terms of it completely, change who they want their trustees to be, their beneficiaries to be, and that is completely at their discretion because it's a revocable trust. That's the most common instrument used for estate planning. There are irrevocable trusts, but those are advanced planning tools, and that's not the subject of this video. So why is it called a living trust? It's called a living trust because it's created while you're still alive, as opposed to a testamentary trust, which is created by a will that is, created upon your death. So the benefit of having a living trust is that you're presumably gathering all of these assets into your treasure chest while you're still alive, and you're not leaving it for someone after your death to do that and have it pass through the trust. The huge benefit of that is that it can be a great avoidance tool, which in California is a big goal of a lot of clients because probate can be so lengthy and so expensive. It's very often a lot more cost effective and a lot less stressful for the family to have a trust. It's also private and can be handled in the attorney's office in most cases. So unless there's a poorly designed trust that invites litigation, usually a trust can be handled privately, and that's a huge also benefit to having a trust. So now we've talked about what a trust is, why it's called a revocable living trust, and what some of the benefits of it are for you. If you have any more questions or you'd like to schedule a consultation, you can give us a call at 951-394-0740 or check our website at www.familylegacyplanningfirm.com. Thanks for watching. Well, please remember to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next Friday.